Hello, once again, welcome to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the mouth of Michigan, Ron Medeka. With me, as always, my co-host, the Merkso, Mike Merkel.
Yes.
And, of course, we have the man, Kyle Budzanowski.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Now, as you guys know, we debuted our new studio last week. We let everybody know about the new website, I'mAlwaysRightPC.com. How are the feedback so far from everybody? Have you guys heard anything positive, negative about the new studio?
I actually forgot about that.
No?
Yeah, I actually went to the website the other day.
How'd it look?
Yeah,
Do you like
really
it?
good.
Yeah, I thought so too. I put it together, so.
I hope you think it's nice.
Yeah, I would hope so, right? Once again, I'mAlwaysRightPC.com. You can see our latest episodes, where we're going to be at a specific sporting event. Obviously, see our latest YouTube episodes. But whenever they go live on YouTube, they'll be live on the website as well. And if you want to contact us, submit a question or maybe a topic for the show, feel free to go to our contact page. If you want to know a little bit more about each one of us and our personal favorites, go to the About Us page, and you can find out a good little blurb about each one of us. Guys, we got a lot to go over. We were going to do some fantasy football talk this week, but that's going to be pushed to next week, so stay tuned for that. But this week, we're going to start off with Andrew Luck's surprise retirement. Then we're going to go into Lions check-in, talk about their third preseason game, as well as the Snacks extension. We're going to talk some NFL preseason changes that maybe we'd like to see after watching the past couple weeks. We're going to do some Harbaugh versus SEC action. I know, Kyle, you're really interested in that. And then we're going to end the show with me and you, Mike, NXT officially going to Wednesday nights on USA. Lots of great content today, guys. An action-packed episode, to say the least. So let's jump right in. Andrew Luck, 29, retiring. Off the bat, less than 2 weeks before the season, he's like, see ya, I'm out. Thanks for everything. Appreciate it. I don't even have notes for this because it happened so recently. But, Mike, I'm going to start with you because I think this hit you a little bit harder because he's on your fantasy team.
Yeah, it hit me the hardest.
Yeah, right? Thoughts on Andrew Luck retiring? What were your initial reactions? Were you bummed out? Were you like, holy crap, this changes a lot of things? Because we can all kind of agree the Colts looked like a team primed to make a run. They were young enough on both sides of the ball. They added some individual pieces. The defense is really young and really kind of coming into its own. And now they got Jacoby Brissett starting.
Well, I thought the Colts were the easy pick to win their division.
Oh, absolutely.
I went, there's no way. And
sure.
now it's the most wide open division in football.
Yep.
So that just by one change of a guy, that's how big it goes.
No doubt.
It hits me hard. I'm a big Andrew Luck fan out of Stanford. He's probably one of my top 3 favorite quarterbacks right now. So that was a really hard hit. And for anyone that is in fantasy, it's a tough break.
Just go pick up Jacoby Brissett. It's fine.
Yeah, actually, I thought about it, and so he won't do anything there. But it's fine, you know.
Oh my god.
So you always draft the backup, guys.
Exactly.
Always draft the backup.
Kyle, same question to you. What were the thoughts just initially when you see kind of come across your phone screen? You go, no. Like that's what happened to me, right? Like I think Emily told me she was like, Andrew Luck's trying. I'm like, shut up. Like there's no way. I'm like, maybe you're thinking of somebody else. Maybe you misread it. And sure as hell, right there, man. Andrew Luck retiring, 29.
Yeah, I was at work and I was washing off something and I took on my phone real quick and I see from Bleacher Report Andrew Luck retiring.
Yeah. And at first you're like, wait, what? No, come on. Like, what is he retiring from? Because sometimes Bleacher Report will do it, right? Like, so-and-so retiring, ... from PlayStation 4. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to play video games anymore or something, Yeah.
But, so after finally realizing that this was real, I'm like, all right, I figured that out. I'm like, all right, who in our league drafted Andrew Luck? So I'm scrambling for answers. I find out Michael drafts him, and it just brought a big smile to my face. You don't even know.
I know.
But just in general, him retiring obviously kind of throws that team way in a different direction than they were probably going to go.
Yeah,
They're probably going to win the division. Now
it's pretty wide open. I mean, the Texans, this is the year now. Texans really got to make a run.
Thank God.
Jacksonville's probably like cool. A lot of even Tennessee, honestly, because Mariota's probably like cool. It's another team that made me look good in my last year, really, as a Titan quarterback, possibly. Is this the biggest announcement of a guy? Is this since probably Barry? I would say because Barry retired at 30, right before training camp. Is this the biggest one that you can remember, or is this bigger than Barry retiring? He's 29 because he plays the quarterback position where he's doing this at. Is this bigger than a Barry Sanders retirement in the sense of, not just because it hits home here for Detroit, but even they reckon it to Calvin Johnson, but everybody knew Calvin was probably going to be done. I think it's a little bit different, whereas Barry did it right before training camp, and that's one of the greatest players of all time. Andrew Luck, he's let's be what top 5 quarterback in the league, you know. So he retiring now. I mean, how much is it different than Barry? And if it is it more impactful than Barry's?
Yes and yes. I think to answer both your questions
for sure.
one word.
Yeah.
I think this one's just like the most. It's way more. I feel like this one's way more shocking to me.
Yes.
Because sitting there, you just go because of like he's 29, plays quarterback. You know, like Barry, he got beat up a lot, and so did Andrew Luck, obviously.
Yeah, right.
But you're playing, and like Barry probably saw no future really,
No,
and I could see there's like that sense.
Yeah.
But like that's like going okay. So now you have this team that you have built basically for you.
Right.
That's basically primed and ready to make at least an AFC Championship game probably this year.
Right.
And then that's when he walks away.
Yes.
That's the thing that goes, wow, that's like
weird.
out of
weird.
that's
Where
so
did that
far out
come
of
from?
nowhere.
Like you could have told me right now. You could have told me 24 hours ago. Okay, somebody in the NFL is going to retire. Somebody big. Andrew Luck would not have even crossed my top 5.
Honestly, my number 1 would have been Aaron Rodgers.
Right, that wouldn't have been. I'd have been like, I can see it. He's in the 30s. He's like, this ain't working.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
That's honestly, if you told me that, that's who I think it would have been.
Right.
So super shocking. Andrew Luck was probably actually about midway on my tier players. Like probably about 10 to 12. I could have probably named you 10 guys before I named Andrew Luck.
Right.
That guy.
Yeah. Kyle, I'm going to ask you. Is this how devastating is this for the Colts organization? And second of all, what do you make of the Colts fans booing him as of Sunday? And should Schefter, because Adam Schefter's the one who kind of broke this news to everybody, should they have waited to kind of let that be known until after the preseason game?
I mean, like, when you are hearing some news like that, like such a massive move, I understand how it could just get out, but I mean, with the boos, it's obviously something that you don't want to see. You don't want like your fans to be booing you. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that was just kind of an initial reaction, like, oh my God, he's leaving. I guess not if they're like today, they're like, well, I mean, he did all these great things for me. Obviously, he's going to be gone, and we're probably not going to have that. They're not going to have that playoff caliber team anymore. But they're probably going to be realizing more, at least today, and as time goes on, like. We should be a lot more appreciative.
Do you think that was an appropriate reaction? Because and here's my take, right? Me and Mike, we talked about this a little bit earlier today. If Stafford were to retire, Detroit fans would slaughter that man. Would absolutely slaughter him, right? They would. They would never. They would mercilessly be like, he was terrible, blah blah blah. They do that now, and he's still playing, for goodness sakes. But in Andrew Luck's case. Beside the injury portion of his career, and he's gone through, if you look, he had a lacerated kidney, he had the shoulder thing, he's had concussions, he's had a lot of problems, right, over his 7-year career. But notwithstanding, he was still a very highly productive quarterback, He was always at least a top 10 quarterback, in my opinion. He always gave the Colts a chance. They made an AFC Championship run with nobody else on that squad, if we're being... I mean, granted, they got killed by New England, but point being, he did it basically by himself. Were the boos justified in that moment, or do you think it was just the visceral reaction, like, you're blowing this, we had an opportunity, we were going to make a Super Bowl run, and now it's all over?
I just think, I think that if you would have done it at a later time, I think, like, say they do it today or Monday,
in the morning,
the next preseason game, they don't boo him or anything.
Right.
I think it's just like literally you're sitting in the...
the stadium, right.
If we're in week 3 and they're playing the Bills at home, we're staying there, and all of a sudden the big time track goes, oh, by the way, Stafford's retiring, we're all angry, we're all screaming, what's going on, and stuff. But I think if you gave it a couple days, and then you go into a game, you're like, okay, I understand why he did it, and good for him or whatever, But I think it's just the initial reaction of it. Mm-hmm. Was it right? I think for the moment,
it's tough. It's
very tough because you can't just go, no, it's absolutely wrong. Well, you're mad because your best player is retiring.
Right.
I don't think it's wrong. I just think. I'm not saying it's right. Yeah. But I think it's very understandable why they did.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like it's like during a game, if like Calvin Johnson was like, "See ya," like halfway through the game, he's like, "See ya, guys." Yeah. You're just like, why? Like you're angry, but then after a few days, you're like, okay, but like I get it. Like,
it is his body, right? It's his mind and everything else, and he kind of went and he explained. I thought his reasons for retiring were valid, right? He's like, I've been hurt a lot. I can't keep going through this process, this off-season process of, completely rehabbing every year a different part of my body. I just can't do it anymore. Mentally, I can't be what I need to be in order for this team to succeed, for myself to succeed. It's just a lot of, I think he tried. I think this offseason, I think he legitimately tried, and I think this foot, ankle, leg injury thing he's been going through is kind of what tipped him over, honestly. I think that's kind of what pushed him to the scale. One quick note, though, the Colts are actually not making him repay the $24 million signing bonus. How bad of a look does that give the Lions organization, considering they made Calvin repay $1 million of his signing bonus? Like, just real quick before we move on to another topic, how does that make you feel if as far as what we got? Anything?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought we had some more breaking news here. Don't scare me like that. How does that make the Lions look, though? As far as what, them making Calvin repay. Calvin, 9-10 years of service, one of the greatest wide receivers that ever played the game, and yet you're still going to make him repay.
Yeah, and it's really petty.
Yeah, it just looks so stupid.
Yeah,
doesn't
I
it?
totally agree with that.
I don't know. Kyle, same question to you, right? How bad
Maybe
does
it's
look?
different, though, as a receiver to a quarterback. Maybe you're like, but he was only a receiver. Maybe that's like their thought. If it was like Stafford, maybe they don't make Stafford like pay it all back or something because he's like the franchise quarterback guy. Yeah. Like they just thought of him as like the receiver. And they're like, yeah, but you're not the guy on the team, even though he kind of was
the guy. Yeah. Right, exactly. I mean, same question, right? Do you think that the Lions? Do you think this it brings up bad memories for Lions fans because you're just like, come on, man, like you did it to Calvin. Calvin's was less than that. You really. And granted, new regime, right? That was Bob Quinn's first offseason and everything, so obviously they were in cost-saving mode as much as possible, but it's not a good look, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like Andrew Luck's reason of retiring is a lot more justified, and you're it's way more understandable, so giving him his money compared to Kelvin Johnson for his reasoning for leaving. I just feel like Andrew Luck is a lot more justified and a lot more understandable, so you're like, okay, well, he did bring us to this AFC Championship run.
I will say this, though, in Calvin's defense, though, Calvin at least announced it before free agency started. Yeah. And before the draft. He was like, hey, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm out. You know what I mean? Whatever the results were behind that, right?
I also think that adds to why people booed.
Yeah.
I think it's more of the anger of if you would have told us this 6 months ago, we at least had a chance to draft or build something.
Right. Go get a quarterback. Go make a move.
You could have got like a Fitzpatrick to hold for a year or something. But instead, you
could have traded for Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
Could have easily traded for Josh Rosen.
But just like a week before the season starts, you go, okay, see ya.
I do think the salary cap situation, because the Colts have $25 million in cap still, in addition to what Luck is getting paid. So I do think the cap situation does play a little bit, but the principle behind this whole thing is that the Lions really were kind of in the wrong, I believe, in that opinion. So, but just something to kind of bring it back home, and just once again, it makes the Lions somehow something that's completely unrelated to Detroit somehow always comes back. It's like, see, why you guys got to be weird? But
it is Sports Center, and it's like, look what the Lions did.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's people are talking about it on Twitter. It's just like,
can you believe?
Jeez, can we just do something right for once? Just once, but. Anyway,
you don't know how to do that.
So congratulations, Andrew Luck, and a great career. I don't know real quick, is he a Hall of Famer?
No. Unfortunately, no.
No.
I mean,
Hall of Famer.
I would say because of the length was so short, I'd say no.
No. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. But it's just something.
I was just like his talent out of college and everything. I would go what he was supposed to be. Yes, but I mean, what he got to one AFC Championship game.
Yep.
He never made a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He never won MVP. There's not enough. There for me to say.
Just thought I'd bring it. Just thought I'd ask, because I'm sure some people will say, "Oh yeah, I mean, look at him." You know what I mean? But I think
he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't really have.
Right.
If you played 5 more years.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and they win a Super Bowl or something like that. Right. Absolutely. All right. Let's come back home now. Speaking of the Detroit Lions, let's do our weekly Lions check-in. I want to start off. I mean, a lot of big things happened over the. Stafford played in a preseason game. Oh my goodness! Every Detroit fan can relax.
He wasn't supposed to that morning.
Yeah, it was crazy. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh," and he comes out and goes 12 for 19 for 137 yards and a touchdown. So safe to say, Stafford's okay. The Snacks extension we'll hit on in a second, but you guys all watched the third preseason game. Just give me the thoughts of what did you guys see just from the first team? We've seen the second team enough to know they're not going to run any remote craziness, anything like that. But what did you see from the first team, Mike, to give you some, to be like, okay, we didn't say Trey Flowers out there, obviously.
Yeah.
We saw the first team defense not out there very long.
Yeah.
But we did get a pretty good glimpse, I would say, of the first team offense for about a quarter and a half.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do anything bad, but they didn't really do anything that was like, wow, that's fantastic.
Crazy.
Like, wow, we're going to be so much better.
Yeah.
So they just kind of gave you the basics of their offense.
Yeah.
And from what you see, it's probably, I mean, it looked good.
Yeah.
But it was also against the Bills' defense, which isn't the greatest, and it's not against all starters and everything. It's not like real live game situation, so you don't really know.
Right.
But based off what we saw, I would say it did pretty well. Hawkinson's the man, I guess.
Yeah,
for all the crap that we gave him pre-draft stuff. Rob's like eating his words right now because it's like
listen,
the man right
we
now.
win a division championship, you'll see Hawkamania right here on the front. That might be a shirt, by the way. But it is what it is. But
yeah, the Stafford to Hawkinson connection's real. Carry on. If the line needs to be a little better for him to be able to get some more yardage and runs. He had a couple of like 6 or 8 yard runs, but he had a lot of negative yards, which I didn't like to see.
Right.
And then the defense as a whole,
I thought the defense looked pretty well. I think they controlled. If we're being completely honest, that first quarter, the Lions outplayed the Bills. If we're looking starters to starters, who was out there? The Lions outplayed the Bills. They controlled field position, right? I mean, the one drive where it was like the Lions had 60 yards of penalty after the interception that they got called for roughing passer, which was questionable at best. I would say the Lions really outplayed Buffalo, at least in that first quarter. But with that, we also saw with the starters, we saw Mike Daniels out there for the first time in his line, but we also saw Mr. Damon Harrison out there for the first time off season, and Snag signed a 1-year extension earlier in the week, 1 year, $11 million. He gets, I think, $12 million now guaranteed over the next 3 as part of that extension / restructure. He's going to get, I think, some more money kind of sprinkled throughout those 3 years of those deals as well. Kyle, thoughts on the Snacks extension? Was it too long? Did you not want to give him an extension? Did you think they should have extended him more? Just thoughts on Snacks getting a contract extension.
I mean, like, I really don't care that much if it was too short or too long. I'm glad that they did get it because I do really think he improves that D-line a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really have complaints. I'm just like, as long as they got it done, both sides are happy. He still wants to be on the team.
Yeah.
And he's going to perform, and he is performing.
Right.
Then...
clearly, I mean, he is. If we're wrecking it, if we're going to go the Patriot way for a second, he is Vince Wilfork to this defense. He is what Vince Wilfork did in New England for so many years. He is exactly the same thing. He's a run-stuffing defensive tackle. Every once in a while, he'll get you a sack, but most time he covers both A gaps. Right, that center, in between the guard and center on either side, and you play head up on the center if you needed to. He covers those gaps so well and really forces an offense to bounce it out and kind of make them one-dimensional in the run game. Mike, same question to you. Thoughts on the Snacks extension?
It works for me.
Yeah.
Having him here is better than not having him here.
Absolutely.
And that's...
Absolutely.
I mean...
Yeah, no doubt.
Hopefully he... Now, if he's not productive, that would suck. But I mean, from everything that we've seen, he's productive. So it works for me. Yeah, I love it.
I was ecstatic, and the reason why I think it's great for everybody involved because Snacks is getting up there. He's going to be 32 by the end of this. By the end of this deal, right? That's probably when you probably kind of cut bait anyway, if I had to guess. This way, he gets more guaranteed money going into the next season, which there might be an NFL strike, which obviously if that happens, we'll cover. But so he wanted some guaranteed money because he didn't have any more left on his deal. It gives you probably the best run-stopping defensive tackle in football in the middle of your defense, where you still have Hand and Flowers and Mike Daniels for this season. And also, I don't think it hamstrings you long term. You know what I mean? Like the money I thought was appropriate. And the length of time, because he still had 2 years left, an additional year, now you have him from 3 more years, you're probably going to get him the rest of his prime.
Yeah.
Anything more, I think, you know what I mean? And honestly, I think you could, if he's still producing at 32, maybe you could come back to the table later on, because what he does so well, I don't think necessarily is going to be as, the downturn is as big for a guy like Slay, who's still waiting on his extension, because once you hit 30 as a corner, it's like all of a sudden your legs are gone, right? I don't know what happens, it just kind of does.
Yeah.
Whereas a run-stuffing defensive tackle, I think the longevity of playing at a high level can be elongated just a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree with that.
So I was happy with the fact that they got it done. It was clearly it was a priority for them. I think that's why they come. I think Slay's next. I wouldn't be shocked to see Slay get an extension here pretty quickly. I'd be happy with probably a 2-year deal. That'd probably be the length of an extension. Have him here 4 more years. I think that would be a perfect range. So I was really happy with that. And lastly, I want to talk about this roster makeup just for a second. We've now seen 3 preseason games with mostly second-tier players playing on this team. Where do we see? Give me one name, one guy maybe that you didn't go into the season with either a lot of high hopes on, or maybe a later round draft pick, a sleeper pick that that you hope makes the team. Kyle, I'll start with you. Is there a guy that maybe they signed that maybe wasn't the high-profile free agent signing like Coleman or Trey Flowers, but maybe an undrafted free agent? Maybe it's a later-on guy like Fulham. Just somebody that you like. Maybe it's P.J. Johnson, the defensive tackle that they signed or drafted in the 7th round. Somebody that you, going into the season, nobody was going to sing their praises about, and now you're like, I really hope he makes the team because I think he can contribute in one way or another.
On the Lions?
Yes.
So there's a guy who I didn't know he was on the Lions until this last week. Mm-hmm. But C.J. Anderson.
Yeah.
I obviously he's obviously behind
Aaron for sure.
Stuff. Yeah. But I really liked how he played. He had a great stiff arm play.
Yeah.
And he just great. So he just shoved him into the ground.
He did though. He's looked good. He's looked what Blunt was supposed to be last year.
But yeah, he's really impressed. Coming from a season where you've heard absolutely nothing of him, when he comes in and he's impressing, even if it's in the preseason. Yeah, I think he's going to be really impressive through the season as that kind, like you said, the Blunt type guy, the power dude when they need it, like in the. Like
and honestly, and I think you're right where that is a little bit of a sleeper, not because it wasn't a big deal when they signed him, because I think a lot of people we were like, oh, okay, cool, C.J. Anderson's here. But to your point where you're like, he's looked good in preseason, right? He's looked good in camp. I think it's a sleeper in the sense of I don't think anybody was really going to get their hopes up on C.J. Anderson because we just saw the same thing happen last year with Blunt, right? But looking at the differences, C.J. Anderson has carried a full load before. He did it in Denver, he did it in Carolina. He was the man for the Rams at the end of that year. He was their go-to, not Gurley. So I'm in agreement with you. I think C.J. Anderson is a guy that will play a bigger role than we expected going into week 1. Kerryon Johnson's clearly the guy, right? But I do think that he will play a bigger role, and I think he'll be more effective than Blunt. Mike, same question. Sleeper guy for you?
Ooh, I'm in one of 2 guys right now, so I got to decide which one I want to do.
I can do mine if you want to.
Oh, yeah, you go yours first.
I'm going to say Ty Johnson out of Maryland. I'm going to stay in the running back room. A guy, 6th round pick. He was the 3rd string running back in Maryland, and now he has immediately become the heir apparent to Theo Riddick. They cut Theo. You saw it on Saturday or Friday, whatever it was. You know, Stafford clearly has a little bit of faith in him to come out of there. He's faster. His route running has a little bit more left to be desired. Yeah. But as a change of pace, scat back, where he has just blind speed, one cut and go, I've been really impressed with him going forward. And as a guy where you look at this roster, you said, okay, you've got Kerryon, CJ's probably going to make the team. You re-sign Zenner, right? You have those three guys. You have Nick Bawden, who's coming off an injury, who they're going to want to use the fullback. You've got Isaac Nada, who can play both H-back and tight end, who you drafted as well. You didn't know where he was going to fit. It was a Dwayne Washington type of pick where you're like, okay, blazing speed, but what else can he do? Mm-hmm. You're seeing that now, and I think Ty Johnson is a guy that I'm really, really excited about.
Okay, so then I'll go defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
And I'll go my man Jalen Reeves-Maybin.
Yes, that's a great pick.
He is a guy that you have to look out for. Yeah. Especially with the Jared Davis injury. He might even be a starter week 1 if he's not going to be back yet.
Absolutely.
He's
fighting for his life.
Yeah,
he's legitimately fighting for his life.
Yeah, there's the linebacking crew, for how much we say, like, everywhere else it's pretty deep. Yeah. They have a pretty deep linebacking crew.
But the difference between being good and just meh is quite a large gap.
You have a depth, but Jalen Reeves-Maybin needs to be good and not meh, and that's got to take the jump. But Jalen, man, he's played so well. Jared came out. He came in with Tavai, and him and Tavai locked up.
Made an interception. That should have counted. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
And so he'd be my guy. If I went offense side, I'd go Brandon Powell, but I won't go too far.
Yeah, no, I think Jalen Reeves-Maybin, that's a guy that I wasn't even thinking of, so that's a great choice. As a guy who, going into this season, you didn't think had a chance. He's not a big linebacker. He doesn't fit in that scheme. But his ability to be off the ball, read the pass, and another thing, too, his blitzing has become better. Where, I don't know, it's probably a little bit scheme, but also, like, he's been able to really, shoot the gap, be back there. There was a couple plays that I think he wants back in that Bills game where he had one where he had the running back in the back for about a 6-yard loss and just missed him. But those are the kind of plays where you go, Yes, like that is a quality reserve linebacker who can play special teams and can come in, probably will be the other linebacker if Jared Davis isn't ready to go week 1. I think that's an absolutely fantastic selection. Brandon Powell's good too, but I don't know if he makes a team.
I hope he does.
I know. I'm very interested.
He's one of my favorite receivers.
After next week, when the cuts actually happen, I'll be very interested to see who goes where and see what they do. All right, guys, that's going to be it for part 1 of episode 39. After the break, we're going to do some NFL preseason changes. We saw some injuries and stuff that made me think maybe there should be some changes to the NFL preseason. We're going to talk Harbaugh versus the SEC and whether or not there's some cheating going on, and then we're going to end the show with a bang. NXT from the WWE side is going to go to USA to face head-to-head with AEW on TNT. So we'll talk all about that right after the break. Stick around. Hey guys, it's the Mouth of Michigan, Ron Dyke, and just reminding you once again that we have a brand new website, I'mAlwaysRightPC.com. It's the only place to go to find the latest news, all the happenings going on with the I'm Always Right Sports podcast. That's I'mAlwaysRightPC.com. Go check it out right now and check out part 2 of this week's episode. And welcome back to part 2 of episode 39 of the I'm Always Right Sports podcast. Let's jump right into it, guys. NFL preseason coming to a close here this upcoming week. Thank God. A couple big injuries, especially on the Lions front, right? Jared Davis, Frank Ragnow, both having some ankle issues. Both got rolled up by their own guy, which is crazy. And
we stopped doing that.
No kidding, right? Thank goodness.
Yeah, practice that.
not out of the way. Not good situational football, right? As Patricia would say. But what we're also seeing though is a lot of starters have the amount of playing time the starters are seeing is less, right? And to the point where some of them aren't seeing action basically at all. Yeah. Do you think that this kind of trend is kind of like a sign that we're going to see less preseason games? A collective bargaining agreement is coming up after this season. Do you think that's going to be one of the negotiating factors? Is like we want less preseason games?
I do think so, based off of the all the co-practices that are going on.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's the big point, the joint practices.
Yeah.
Because the reason I believe why Stafford hasn't played these games, I think he would have at least played a series or two, is because he gets more workout in a joint practice situation than an actual game.
No
Even
doubt.
though people go, well, they're live shots and you can actually get tackled and stuff. I'm like, but that doesn't benefit Stafford.
Yeah, who's that benefit? Anybody.
If you get hit, if you get touched shorter, then you can move out and continue the play to work on the play itself.
Right.
I think that's more beneficial than just getting
if you get touched, then it's, the line didn't do its job. You're still getting the same benefit, even though it's not a live game situation.
Yeah, so I think all these practices will lead to less preseason games because people don't really want to go to them really.
No, because they don't do anything for anybody.
They don't do anything really for anybody, because even in practices you go, okay, seconds versus seconds, see who's good. You don't need to see a preseason game to see who's outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle, same question to you. Do you think that with starters kind of leaning toward, and even coaches are kind of like, I'm not playing my starters. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to take that risk. Do you think this is going to lead to less preseason games, or do you think they're just going to stay status quo?
I think it will. I think it only really takes one big injury, some big quarterback gets hurt, until the league starts saying, we need to make a change, because there's going to be all these teams are having these smaller injuries with their starters. But I think it will definitely be discussed after the season, and like Michael said, with the joint practices, I feel like that is more beneficial, and it will become sort of the norm with less, at least the starters playing the last preseason games.
Right, and I think that. With the CBA coming up, would you rather see though would you rather it change where it goes to less games, or do you still want to see the 4 because you enjoy watching, or do you think that would it affect you as a fan to have more or less preseason games?
To me, it would just be I'm very indifferent in it, because I don't sit down and go, I gotta watch this Lions preseason game because they're on. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I'm not going out, but if it's on, it's on. Mm-hmm. So to me, it doesn't make an impact. Actually, since the starters won't play, it probably would encourage me less to go watch them if I know for a fact.
Right.
All the starters are sitting, it's all seconds.
This week 4, there ain't a single starter.
Yeah, there's not going to be a single starter, so do I watch it? Probably not.
Right, yeah.
It'd
be something interesting. Would you rather, if you had, let's say it stays the same, would you rather see your starters get some work in the preseason at any point in time, whether it's the second, third game? Or do you prefer, you know what, I don't even want them out there ever. Like, I'm good with just joint practices. I'm good with them doing their reps in there. Or do you need to see at least some live work happening, you know,
depends,
in front of you?
I don't know how Kyle thinks about this, but I think that you should either go all in on it or all out on it.
Yeah.
I think you should either go, yep, they're going to play some of these games, or we're going to sit them the whole time. Yeah. Because I'm, and it's been talked about probably a lot around other medias,
for sure,
where they go, Stafford might play this game, but he might not. That sounds a lot worse than he's not playing this one, or he's definitely going to play this one.
Right.
Because when you're wishy-washy, you go, is it because he's hurt? Is it because of this? Is it because he doesn't look good in practice?
Absolutely.
Like, that gives you a lot of scare if you want to not scare fans, you go, he's just not going to play. He's going to practice. He's been doing good, but he's just not going to play the game. So you go, okay, he's not going to play. That's cool. Right? Yeah, I get it.
And I think Patricia, just to your point on that, kind of made a good point where he's like, I'm not going to have you guys sit here and nitpick my quarterback for the next 3 weeks based off of what he does in a preseason game. Like, he's like, it's so much more beneficial for us as a staff to evaluate where we're at as an offense, because we can do things without it being shown to the whole league, you know, certain situations or schematically and any of that.
That's also why I don't think they should play, because
they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything.
They just run curl routes and
exactly.
halfback dives and stuff, and I go, I don't care to see that, because I hope you can execute a halfback dive in the NFL by yourself, without really needing much practice on it.
Yeah.
So,
well, and then into that point, right? We talked about a couple weeks ago where I think the first year of Michael Lombardi, or Joe Lombardi, not Michael Lombardi, Joe Lombardi was our OC. Stafford's quarterback rating in the preseason was like 150.6 or something. He was phenomenal in the preseason, and then the regular season came and he threw like 24 touchdowns. And so you're like, what happened, right? It's because it doesn't mean a whole lot. Kyle, same question to you. Would you rather see the starters play, or are you just like, no, you know what, just sit them down? I'd rather them get hurt week 1 than get hurt week 3 of the preseason. I'd rather them get hurt week 1. If an injury's coming, I'd rather it happen in the regular season than in the preseason.
As a fan, you obviously would want to see them play, but you understand that you obviously don't want your star, your franchise quarterback to get hurt.
Yeah.
So I mean,
like Cam Newton's got a foot injury right now for playing the preseason.
Yeah, and I think it just should be made even. I feel like it'd be good if you would just shorten the preseason, like 2 games, have them play a drive a game. Mm-hmm. It's simple, and
that was a great foot.
It's like
that's an easy. Get up.
It's easy, but as long as you have just something set, not he might play. Wait 5 minutes before the game starts. Still live. Everyone knows.
That's how all the teams are. I think sometimes the NFL just makes things overly complicated just because they can, because it's the NFL. Where it's like, we're in the NFL, so we need to. It's like play calls. You hear those play calls by like John Gruden and stuff, and you're like, what?
Oh no, those are awesome.
I'm like, but it makes me laugh because it's like when he tries to explain, like you've ever seen the YouTube clip where he's trying to explain the play to Phil Simms, right?
Yeah.
Where he goes, or Chris Simms, and he's like, he just says the play wrong, and he goes, come on. And then he just repeats the play. He doesn't tell him, remember. He just goes, you should know this. Like, just like,
he says it like 7 times.
Shift for razor banana. And I'm like, and it's just, and then he goes, at one point, Chris Simms just goes, I just couldn't get it. He's like, what's the problem? Like, yeah, I'm the problem. Like, not the stupid play call. It was a halfback dive or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but I do like that. I think they should just play 2 games, like week 1 and week 3 of how it is now.
Yeah.
But just do 2 games.
Yeah, and if they had joint practices, right? Maybe you don't even have to do a joint practice with the team you're going to play. Maybe it's just, hey, I'd like to have joint practices this week in between my 2 preseason games in order to still, have that live competition, live reps, where it's just like, hey, we look good or we don't look good. You know what I mean? I think that would help quite a bit. All right, let's shift now from the NFL to some college football action. So last week we talked Michigan calling out Ohio State with the whole "the" trademark attempt. Now Harbaugh's calling out the SEC conference as a whole. So instead of calling out one team that you get your butt kicked by, we're going to call out a whole conference that has dominated college football for a good majority of the past 10 years or so. Basically, he comes out and he says it's hard to compete with teams like Bama's and the LSU's and teams in the SEC because they're cheaters. That's basically it. So you cheated. First off, Kyle, I want to ask you: do you agree with Harbaugh? Not whether or not he's right to say it, but do you agree that the SEC has some, let's just say, not the best quality, ethical ways of recruiting young players?
Well, I do agree, but but on the other hand, if you are in the South, like, you live and die by football.
Oh, yeah,
like, you do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
And so, like, everyone probably knows, sure, they've cheated in whatever ways to get whoever, but, like, what are you going to do about it? Like,
Yeah.
What are you going to, like...
Well, I'm asking you that in a second, but Mike, same question to you. Do you think that they are doing things that maybe in Michigan or Ohio State, or maybe in Ohio State, maybe that's giving them too much credit, but other teams, right, that maybe they're not going to that kind of level. Do you think that the SEC schools, Bama specifically, because they're the big one, right, are using some more unethical practices in order to get some people in, paying players, so on and so forth?
I really don't think so, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because when you really look at the makeup of a lot of SEC teams, they're really not that great. Like, there's nothing that stands out. Like, Alabama's won championships with quarterbacks you can't even name now. You know what I mean? Or like A.J. McCarron was there, and where is he now?
You know what I mean?
Too, and he was so dominant. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's really like, oh, we're gonna pay this #1 recruit in the entire country money to come here. Yeah. I honestly think it comes down to they have just better coaching than the Big Ten does, and I think
the accusation of saying that the SEC cheats is that almost an indictment on the entire NCAA, because it's like the NCAA catches teams all the time for this kind of crap. So why catch a team like Ohio State, who's gotten busted a couple times now for that kind of thing, but not Alabama? They're just as hated as everybody else, you know what I mean? And two, then you're saying that, maybe the NCAA knows, and now the game as a whole is rigged. That's kind of where you kind of go down that path, where it's like, okay, if we're going to say, they're cheating, which I bet they are, no doubt about it. I think, but here's the difference, I think they all are, to some extent.
Well,
I think there's always a little bit of some underhandedness.
Yes. Okay, I would agree with that.
You know what I mean?
I don't think you can just label it SEC.
Straight up and
I think everyone has a little bit. Like, there's always that one person where you go, wait, but we'll go an extra visit. We'll do that extra thing.
We're gonna help your mom get a car. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Do you think that? I mean, Kyle, I'm gonna go back to you, since you're kind of the resident Michigan guy here.
And more college football.
As by the hoodie. What do you think of Michigan as a whole, whether it's Harbaugh, their social media, even some of their players, right? Going on a bit of a social media, I would say, rampage, right? These past 2 weeks now we've talked about nothing related to football whatsoever, just about them calling out a team, taking shots across the bow, so to speak, but once again, you haven't stepped on the field yet, so you don't know what kind of team. Are you happy to see them coming out and just basically calling their shots and be like, I want everybody to hate us. I want everybody to hate us. I want to be the bad guy, and we're just gonna go and kick everyone's butt? Or are you more like you were last week, where it's just like, just shut up and play, and just let's hope not to get embarrassed?
Like, I have this kind of theory that I've been coming up with. Like, so obviously they could just be doing this because they're just so confident and they're whatever. But in my head I'm thinking, so what if they want to do this? So they want to call out all these big teams and saying that they actually beat everyone that they're supposed to beat, and then when it comes to they beat Ohio State, they win the Big Ten championship, and then you have this college football playoff committee who's like, okay, we have obviously Alabama, Clemson, Georgia maybe, and then we need to fill that fourth slot. Oh, Michigan, they've been the bad team, I guess you want to call it this season, but they've backed it up. They finally backed it up when they've been talking crap. Yeah. So I think this could be a little strategy. Like, they want to put themselves. I know put
themselves on the front, like the front page, kind of be like, hey, don't forget about us, because when we go through and we wreck this season, we should be there.
That's exactly where I've been at this whole time. I'm just like, I don't think you should just be sitting back going, I don't know if we can beat them, but like hopefully we can get through and go 12-0. Like, I'm not agreeing to that statement. I feel like you should be out there, because if you don't say anything, people will forget.
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, you don't have any reaction. So I do agree with that. I'm like, go out and say you're gonna be. Have some confidence. Like, we're gonna go out and beat Ohio State. Okay, I like hearing that. Yeah. I don't want to hear, we got to play Ohio State this week. It's going to be a rough game. Like, I don't want to hear that, because then you're not prepared, or you're not whatever this.
So you prefer the hot take method rather than the, they're a good football team, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So you just need to see them back it up.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I do. But what I'm asking him is more of like, if you're, as a fan, going into a big game like this, right? I'd rather Mike is saying he'd rather hear Harbaugh say, no, we're going to go in there, we're going to kick their ass, rather than, hey, they're a good football club, we'll see what happens. Like, you know what I mean?
It just sounds like you're not confident enough to beat them.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like, the Lions going to Packers like before they started winning in Green Bay, you go,
there's no way they'll win this game.
They're a really good team or at home. Maybe we can get one at home, but like on the road, it's going to be impossible.
You
know, we're trying to split Green Bay, but now you go. We're going to go in there on Monday night and win because you know that you can.
You can.
I like that mentality better.
For sure. Last question on this guy before we move to NXT. Kyle, do you think that, let's just say, for in all intents and purposes, Harbaugh is not cheating, right? He's doing everything by the letter, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You know, but the SEC seems to be doing some things that are questionable at best. Do you think Harbaugh should start doing what the SEC's doing? Do you think that translates more into Big Ten championships, Final Four appearances, so on and so forth? Or are you kind of in Mike's camp where it's, I think it's more about the coaching than it is anything else?
I think a huge thing is the coaching.
Yeah.
But if the NCAA is going to do absolutely nothing about it,
right,
then like,
get on the train.
Like, I mean,
see, here's the problem with that though is like Ohio State tried that though. They go, they're cheating. Well, let's try to cheat, and then you get caught for it.
And then Tressel got fired.
And then it looks really bad on Harbaugh going, well, you're yelling at them for cheating, but you're cheating also.
Right.
So it's like a double-edged sword at that point where you can't just go, like you have to, if you're gonna do it again, you have to be discreet. Like the SEC, if they're cheating, they're doing very discreetly, so no one really knows about it. Yeah. So Michigan has to do it discreetly. But I'm just like, how about you just coach your team up to beat them? Right. Because like I said, besides Alabama does have really good players, but guys like LSU and like Kentucky and stuff,
it's all split. They're all sprinkled.
Yeah, they're all just like they're just really well coached teams. Like that's why the conference is so hard.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
At the end of the day, I'm just
and we can see that, right? Like Texas, right? Texas was a powerhouse school for a really long time, and then Mac Brown fell off his rocker and started doing weird stuff, and all of a sudden they were terrible for several years. You know, same thing with Florida. You know, when Urban was there, they were great. Then Muschamp came there and they were awful again.
My God, can we? Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Kyle, we have probably the same thought here. I strongly dislike that Florida quarterback, Felipe Franks. I don't think disliked a quarterback more than him.
Really?
It's such a long time.
The gameplay and his reaction to his gameplay just
are so far away from each other. So basically, what's happening is it's kind of like the Baker Mayfield stuff, but he's not. But he's without talent. So so yesterday his stat line, he threw for like 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, and he's running around the field going, "Yeah, we're killing them. We're gonna win this game." And I'm sitting there going, you just threw a 3rd interception and now you're celebrating.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, it doesn't make sense. Like at least the Baker stuff when he was doing his stuff, they were winning, so you go, okay, he's backing it up a little bit.
Right.
This guy's just going around going, oh my God, yeah, we just beat you by 4 points, even though we're the number 8 team in the country and you're like the 58th team in the country, and I threw 4 interceptions on you. Yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, shut up. You're not that great.
Yeah, anyway. I think as a game, for the first college football game of the season, I think as a game overall, I think Florida is honestly not the number 8 team in the country.
No.
I don't think obviously they beat Miami during score. I don't think Miami was that good, but I definitely don't think they should be.
Yeah. Well, I thought if anything, Miami should be like a ranked like a
I feel
25.
like if they would have had a quarterback, then Miami would have won that easily.
Literally, it shows you how bad Tate Martell is, though. If he couldn't win that job from
anyway, that was a tangent.
That's okay. Well, obviously, we're gonna.
That's my take on it.
I'm excited for college football a little bit, just because I think this year is a little more different. Outside of Alabama and Clemson, there's a lot of just like really good teams.
I think the transfers.
Who's gonna rise?
Really,
a lot of guys transferred around them.
That I think is going to be the new thing. It's going to be like college free agency almost. I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore, so I'm going to transfer.
If you're
with all these guys winning the transfer arguments, where they don't have to sit out for a year.
I'd be shocked. I'm shocked because if Shea wasn't a senior this year, like if he wasn't leaving, I bet you McCaffrey leaves to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But he's like, okay, I'm going to play next year, so I'm good. Right. But I bet he. I'm
gonna be straight up with you guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Milton.
Right before we go to NXT here in a second, but if McCaffrey or if Patterson struggles even remotely in the first 3-4 games of this season, I'm done. Sit him down and put McCaffrey in there.
I think he will, but I'm
not legitimately.
Well,
I'm not playing anybody, but still.
I have to wait till the Wisconsin. See, my thing with Shea is tough because that week 1 was Notre Dame, so you're going into a tough atmosphere right off the bat, and then after that he didn't look very bad afterwards until obviously Ohio State where they actually got through. But those 10 games in between, I was like, he's a very serviceable quarterback.
Right.
Where I go this year when you have an opening schedule of mid Tennessee Army. Yeah. Oh my God. If you lose to Army, yeah, he's done. He's done.
Oh my God.
But
if
they
lose to one of those teams.
But no, if he has a bad performance in any of those games, like Army, then I go, yeah.
If he has a stat line, okay, he threw for 250 yards, he threw for 3 touchdowns, he threw for 3 picks, I'm done. Like, even though, okay, yeah, we won by 14, that's not good enough for me at this point. If you're quote unquote a team that's supposed to go to the Final Four, I need a quarterback where every time you throw the ball, it doesn't look like it's going to get picked. Because that's when Shea Patterson throws the ball to me, I look at him like, that's an interception. It just, when it comes out of his hand, it's almost as bad as when Denard used to throw. Remember when Denard used to throw a pass? Every pass that was more than 5 yards, I'm like, oh, that's so intercepted. Every single And sometimes it was caught, sometimes, and then most of the time, oh, there's a pick, there it goes. He threw the ball, that's never good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's fine. We'll talk about it, obviously.
I think the beautiful thing about having Dylan McCaffrey and Joe Milton, that Shea Patterson knows he needs to
short leash really
well.
Yeah, absolutely.
To keep this, he knows he needs to play well to keep his job.
For sure. All right, let's go to the last topic of the day. NXT, going from the WWE Network to USA Prime Time, going head to head with AEW on Wednesday nights. Smart move, Mike, for them to go head-to-head against AEW. Going to 2 hours, too, so they're going to add an hour. It's going to Triple H, quote-unquote, is going to be the one still running it, as long as ratings are good, which that's a relative point at this point. But anyway, thoughts on NXT moving? Is it a smart move?
No, but I get why they do it.
Yeah.
But I would say, okay, here's the thing. It doesn't help you, and here's why. I think if they would have done what Raw and SmackDown do, where 4 weeks later they put it right back on the network, then I think, okay, it's not a bad idea, because now literally NXT came out and go, okay, so we're going to air the show live on Wednesday, and then on Thursday at 8, we're putting it on the network.
Right.
And I go, so you watch AEW on Wednesday and then NXT on Thursday.
Right.
Like, now you have no, besides if something huge happens or something, but you have, no reason to really watch NXT on Wednesday nights anymore.
Right.
So I think for that just sole reason alone, it's kind of stupid. But in the bigger picture, NXT TV, to be honest, wasn't very good anyway. I don't know how you felt about it. I never really enjoy NXT TV. Takeovers, obviously, are one of the best things ever, but their shows are just going...
There's one big thing, and then there's a whole bunch of meh at the end.
There's Undisputed Era comes out in the beginning, and then there's 10 things of filler, and then they have a match at the end. That's
and Roger Strong versus somebody.
So, but now you're going to extend it for 2 hours, and it's going to be live every week, and now you go...
Do you think it's going to help them, though, with the 2 hours, and because they're going head-to-head with somebody, do you think that it's going to force them to kind of really dig into their depth a little bit in guys that maybe you haven't seen before, really start getting some time, really start getting to know these characters a little bit, so will it help the transition for them going to the main roster?
I think it will help them go in the main roster. I do think you could have an ECW thing, something better. But you could have... Oh my God, way better. But you could have NXT as a third brand and do a whole new draft and have NXT as a brand drafting guys, because I think that could really work very well. But yeah, I think you could get guys like Damian Priest and Kushida on there almost every single week, if not every single week. And those are guys that I want to see on there that only on there. I think they're going to
go so hard their first few weeks just to kind of get the audience in, and then when AEW starts, that's when they're going to really...
That's why, spoiler alert, actually we probably shouldn't go over it, but there's spoilers from the NXT taping.
Oh yeah, like the Era 1
tag titles.
Yeah, but those that won't happen until after.
No, that's the week after, but they're going to come out with...
Exactly.
So
I wouldn't be surprised to see
Roddy win it the first night.
Exactly, when the North American. Absolutely. You always see, WWE main event, the first main event show, Kofi beat the Miz for the Intercontinental title. You can't miss a show because you never know what's going to happen, but whatever. Will this help NXT? Will this help grow that brand even into a true viable third entity, or is it going to kill it like they did with ECW? Because when ECW first started, you're like, okay, you got a whole bunch of ECW originals, RVD's here, Kurt Angle's here, Big Show's here. You have some bigger marquee guys that were going to kind of help coax it in while introducing new stars. Now, you've got a whole bunch of guys that on the independent scene are huge names, right? And some of these guys now are to the point where I think even WWE fans know who they are. But to your point, the depth is lacking. So is this going to help? Is the NXT brand going to be more or less viable a year from now than it is right now? Is it still going to be the cool thing for the WWE, or is it just going to be another show?
It'll probably be the cool thing because Raw and SmackDown probably won't get better. Sorry to say, I'm sorry. But, I mean, NXT will still be the cool thing, but I think NXT will turn into Raw and SmackDown, where every week you go, okay, that was a show, but like, was it like really anything? Mm-hmm. Also, I heard they're adding more takeovers every year. Yeah, they're going to like 7 or 8 takeovers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So NXT's gonna have their own like pay-per-view almost every month, but it's gonna be not with the main roster stuff.
I think they should. I think honestly, if they wanted to keep doing the takeovers, I'd say they just do the joint ones with NXT UK. Like, just have the UK stuff on there, too. Yeah. And that way, it's more like a pay-per-view than it is a take. Because takeovers are like, 2.5, 3 hours sometimes? Yeah. Where you just make it a full 3-hour event, and because you're going to have more depth on NXT now. Yeah. And then, because no one's going to watch that UK takeover until way after All Out. So, you know what I mean?
Way after All Out, Royal Quest.
Exactly, right. So, that's what I'm saying. All right, last question before we wrap it up here. Does AEW, if you're AEW, you're Tony Khan, you're Cody, you're the Bucks, whoever, do you care at all that NXT's
not at all. No, not a cent. Yeah. But because WWE like kicked themselves in the butt by setting it up where AEW can go, hey, so we're gonna have a world title match tonight. Yeah. Like the first show they have the women's match getting crowned or whatever. Right. So they have this match.
The tags, I think the 3rd episode.
Yeah, tags like the 3rd or 4th episode. So they have all this stuff already lined up, and then you go, okay, so I'm gonna watch AEW on Wednesday and watch this, and then I'm gonna go no spoiler and then watch NXT the next day or something. Mm-hmm. I mean,
right. Yeah.
Why? Like they're not worried at all about that NXT audience, unless, and I think they can. Yeah. Coincide like the Monday Night Wars, where if NXT's like, oh, Adam Cole versus Matt Riddle for the NXT title, then you go, okay, well I got Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes over here for the AEW title. Which one are you watching? And then that's when you're going. That's when you're split, but at least you can get some viewership on that. Right. Because that's what NXT's gonna go. Every other show that AEW doesn't do something good, NXT's gonna pull something out. Mm-hmm. But that's when AEW's gonna go, oh wait, but we got this.
I'm pretty excited. Like, I know that AEW said this is not a war, but it's definitely a war. Yeah. And the one who wants it to be war more than anybody is Vince McMahon. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, and that's why I do think Raw and SmackDown are going to get better, especially when AEW first launches. I think that because of the momentum they're going to come in with, I just think that they're just going to be like, all right, you know what, fine. We're going to put Rollins out there every night. You know, he's going to be the man. We're going to put Roman out there. We're going to put Drew. We're going to put Dolph. We're going to put all these guys that are really like top tier guys. You know, we're going to talk next week or maybe the following week after the King of the Ring thing happens. But I think that is the start of something where you're going to see a lot more. You're going to see more of a wrestling influence start taking over WWE. Less entertainment, I think, and a little more straight wrestling.
I wouldn't be shocked to see guys like Rollins and Reigns hit NXT up for a little bit, too.
First couple shows, you'll see a lot of big stars.
Like Drew McIntyre going down for a couple takeovers and stuff.
But that's why you send a guy, maybe not like Drew McIntyre, but like a Cesaro or Samoa Joe, and then have somebody like Adam Cole beat him. Yeah. Because then you establish those guys as top-tier talent that you need to watch every single week because you don't know, like, they should do like a whole NXT invasion thing to start off, because if they like launch the show and then they have a whole bunch of young NXT guys attack Raw and SmackDown, then it's like, oh crap, and it's almost like they're feuding with each other, but at the same time they're really all on the same team to fight AEW. So it's like a war within a war.
Well, I went opposite. I would go Raw and SmackDown tag NXT. Because you didn't expect anyone to really, other than the main guys.
Yeah, right.
NXT.
Yeah, that's
like
cool
you have Samoa Joe, Cesaro, and they're all trying to take over NXT, take it back. Right. You take the originals that were there early, you take it back from NXT, and then you have a mini war inside the war. Yeah. But then I think AEW sits there and goes, I don't know if many people watch WWE because AEW is such an easy 2 hours a week deal.
It's going to be interesting. AEW's going to have to step up, though, because WWE can do something wrong on Raw and then go to SmackDown and fix it. You know what I mean? AEW's like, I got a week to sit on that crap, you know.
But it can also benefit, though, because if you leave on a cliffhanger, change or something, what happens next week? Yeah,
absolutely. No doubt about it. All right, guys, that's going to be it for episode, what are we at, 39? 39 already? My goodness, episode 40 next week, guys. That's a lot of episodes. Episode 39 is officially in the books. Once again, next week we're going to be talking some fantasy football action, some tips, some tricks, some do's, some don'ts, all that good stuff. Basically, everything Kyle did, don't do. Everything Mike did, maybe. I don't know.
No, don't draft Andrew Luck. What are you talking about?
Andrew Luck, first overall. Once again, check out I'mAlwaysRightPC.com for all the latest happenings with the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast crew. For the man, for the Merc Zone, I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and we will see you guys, as always, next time.